Hello friends, I'm Rosa. Welcome to the channel. So, I have to sneeze. The timing is perfect. Anyway, I have talked about this a couple of times by now here on the channel, but I am moving very soon. Actually, I think I'm gonna start packing down some of my books today. So for future videos, the background might look a little bit different. But this also means that I have gone through my books and decided which ones that I felt like I didn't really want to put up on my shelves again, if you get what I mean. So we're gonna say bye-bye to some books today, and I might pick more off the shelves when I get there. But this is essentially like, I want to go through these books today because I'm gonna put them in a box and then I'm gonna move, and then when I get to my new apartment, I'm gonna figure out what the heck I'm gonna do with these books because they don't get spots on my new shelves. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. If you have any suggestions for like places that you can sell or where you can sell books for someone who is not in the UK or the US, more specifically in Europe, even more specifically in Denmark, and those places are not Depop or Vinted, let me know, because it's really difficult to actually make these available for more people. There's not a lot of fantasy books or fantasy book readers, you know what I mean, here in Denmark. So I don't want to just like donate them to a charity shop where they're never gonna get sold. I want to make sure they actually find a home, but some of them are also worth a little bit, so I am also interested in selling some of them. So if you have any suggestions, like if you have sold books from Denmark or at least from Scandinavia or like Germany or something before, let me know. Help a girl out because I'm clueless. I think my emergency plan is to put them up on Facebook Marketplace, but like that might not lead anywhere. So like, I don't know. Help a girl out if you want to. But I think I have about 30 books, which is actually not that much. But there's only one of these that I haven't read before, so I'm not gonna get rid of books that... I'm not at a place yet where I feel like I have to get rid of books that I haven't read yet, just because I haven't felt like reading them for some months. So we haven't gotten there yet. We might in the future, but also, if we get there, my books are wrapped up, so like I can't even find the books anyway. So like we have 30 books, we're gonna go through them all, not necessarily in super much detail, because then this video is gonna end up being very long, but I'm gonna let you guys know why I'm getting rid of the books. So some of the reasons are gonna be a little bit more complicated than some other reasons, you know? So that's what we're gonna do. Anyway, let's get started. So we're starting out with a book that I read back in 2021, I think, for like fall. I think it was actually like during Halloween time in 2021. I can't remember. But The Wicked Deed by Shea Earnshaw. This is not gonna be like, it was a very mediocre read. I didn't love it. I felt like the plot twist in this kind of annoyed me a little bit, and it's definitely not gonna be a reread, and for that reason she's going. But like, it was entertaining. As long as it lasted, it was entertaining. But she's gonna go, say bye. This is young adult fantasy if you are curious, and there is a romance plot in it as well. And I think it's considered a little bit horror as well, but I cannot remember specifically. Then we have, there'll be a couple of these, Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. I've been one of those people who have been really into Colleen Hoover, and then I think I read Ugly Love, and it kind of hit me that first of all her books are a little bit the same, but also like trauma. A lot of trauma. And I think for me, it crosses a line. Like, I think I realized after Ugly Love, because there are things in that book with the romance plot that is super toxic. I think I realized that I'm not feeling it anymore. So while I enjoyed this when I read it, thinking back on it, I'm a little bit like, I don't know, it just gives me sort of the ick. I don't know how to explain it, but it just kind of gives me the ick now. So I'm gonna get rid of this along with some other Colleen Hoover books. If you like Colleen Hoover, don't come for me, okay? Don't come for me. But it would never be a reread anyway. Oh, we got two books that I haven't read that I'm never gonna read. I have owned this book, Jojo Moyes' Me Before You, wait, hold on. Oh geez. Like, this is before the movie came out. This is from before the movie came out. That's how long I've owned this book. I have never read it. I've never for one moment considered reading it. It's just not happening. I don't know. It gives me nothing. I look at this book and I feel nothing. So we're saying goodbye to her, but like, she's unread. She's a little bit yellow. She's in good condition though. Just a little bit yellow. A tiny bit. She's old. You know, but I don't know, I'm not feeling it. I bought it at the airport because I was flying somewhere, I can't remember. But I bought it at the airport. It was probably the #1 bestseller or something, so that's why I came across it, because I had 100% not heard of the movie at that point, or the movie coming out. Yeah, the movie coming out, soon to be a major film. I had 100% not heard of it and got curious because it was #1 and it said soon to be a major movie, and probably bought it, and then it's not for me. Like, it wasn't back then, it's not now. So we're saying bye to her as well. Yeah. Then we have #9 by Colleen Hoover as well. It's a thing. There's actually a moment in this where I'm like, at the very start even, that made me feel incredibly uncomfortable, and it kind of just put like a negative light on the rest of the book as well, which in itself it felt a little bit like pointless in some way. I don't know. But we're saying goodbye to her as well. She is not coming with, well, she's coming with me, but in a box, and then I'm letting her go again. So bye-bye. Oh, this one is solely because I have, can you see them? I have the Illumicrate set literally right behind me, so I don't need this anymore. But I read this, I loved it, so don't get me wrong, this is a very, very good dark academia book. A little bit confusing, I will admit to that. Like, you definitely gotta hang in there, but I loved it so much, so that's not why we're getting rid of this. It's just because I have a hardback edition of it. So, and I think I'm gonna get Hellbent on Kindle because I don't like to read my special editions. So it was one of those, like, I have it as a special edition and I don't feel like I necessarily need to reread it in paperback form. I might as well just get it on Kindle. So that's why I'm saying goodbye, because she's taken up a spot for one that could possibly, for a book that could possibly be, you know, like a unique book that I don't have. You know what I mean? So we're saying goodbye, even though it hurts my soul a little bit. Lovely book though. You'll see 2 editions of this book actually. So The Ivory Key by Akshaya Raman, which I read sort of, again, just like kind of a little bit of a mediocre YA fantasy, and I enjoyed it, but I can't see myself actually continuing with the series. I can't exactly remember the whole plot as we're sitting here right now talking about it, which kind of, I feel like that says enough about the book, to be honest. I remember liking the siblings aspect of it, but I also remember there was one thing, I can't remember what it was. There was one thing that really annoyed me. Why can I not remember what it was? I have to sneeze again. This is so annoying. That said though, this is an Illumicrate exclusive, so the colorway on the original is green and it doesn't have sprayed edges. This has never been read, so we'll see what I can do with it. But yes, she's pretty though. She's very pretty. This one I'm getting rid of for the sole reason that I got this for Christmas from my sister. Please don't tell her. When I send a picture of these books and I ask her if she wants one of them, or a couple of them, or just some of them, whatever, not just one. Like, I'm not mean. I don't know why I said one. Anyway, I'm gonna hide this because she can't know that I bought this on hardback to match with the other ones. I appreciate her giving me this for Christmas so much, don't get me wrong. I'm just a little bit particular with my matching books, so it bothers me a little bit when they don't match. So that's why I'm getting rid of this. I have not read it. I will though. I am actually so confident that I love this trilogy that I bought all 3 before reading it. So that's the sole reason we're getting rid of this. It's because I have it in hardback. So then we have Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, which is a horror, and I'm getting rid of this because I kind of already know what's gonna happen. I know the plot twist. I enjoyed this a lot up until the ending, which just felt like a smack to the face. So I don't want to reread it because I got so annoyed after the movie. It's not a movie. I could see it being a movie though, but after the book ended, I was just so annoyed. So I don't think I'm gonna reread this. I think I'd rather try to find other horror books that maybe don't end that way. That specific way. I don't know, it's so annoying. I wish I could talk about it with you. But yeah, so that's why we're getting rid of this one. Just annoying. It felt very disrespectful to the reader. Not like, yeah, I can't explain it. Then we have They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, which is YA contemporary with some sci-fi aspects to it. Also a romance. I did not love this. I feel like the concept is very interesting in this one, but I feel like the execution could maybe have been a little bit better. I feel like Adam Silvera wanted there to be a little bit more going on than was possible with the 24 hours or max 24 hours that the characters were given. So it just didn't vibe with me, but I think it's also got something to do with the fact that I've come to the conclusion that YA contemporary romance is just not, or just YA romance, it's just not for me. Fantasy with a romance subplot, different thing, because, or different situation, because then there's a lot more going on, but like just building on feelings, having a romance, just a romance plot in a YA book doesn't do it for me. I think I'm just too old. I'm past that point. I'm not saying that you can't read YA romance as an adult. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think it doesn't vibe with me anymore. I want something different from my romances. So yeah. And this just, execution wise, I felt like it could have been a little bit better. So, but a lot of people like this book and I don't fault them for that. Ooh, then we got a DNF actually. For the Throne by Hannah Witten, which I really wanted to like. Adult fantasy with romance. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, actually, not a Red Riding Hood retelling. Nothing happens in this one, in my opinion. So it made me not want to read. And books are not supposed to make you feel that way. They're supposed to make you really feel like reading. And so I had to stop reading this because it was just like, it wasn't doing it for me at all. So she's gotta go. Sorry. I really wanted to like you though. I really did. Then we got my other Colleen Hoover books. We have All Your Perfects, It Ends With Us, and the aforementioned Ugly Love. We're getting rid of these for the same reason we're getting rid of Heartbones and November 9. I'm just not feeling it anymore. So I think these were the last Colleen Hoover books that I owned as well. I don't think I own any that I have not read, if I recall correctly. If I do, it's wrapped up somewhere and I just can't remember. So yeah, we're getting rid of them all. We're saying bye. It's fine. I think my sister might actually want All Your Perfects, now that I think of it. Yeah, so they'll probably find a home, although I think she owns the other ones. I'm not sure. We'll see. Then we have One Day in December by Josie Silver, which it's a Christmas read. It's an adult romance, and I just don't feel like rereading it because there are certain bits to this with the friendship that I just really didn't like. And I hate cheating as well. It makes me very uncomfortable. So emotional or physical or both. I don't like either. I don't like reading about it. It makes me very uncomfortable. I can't really explain why because I've never been cheated on. I've never cheated on anyone. I would never cheat on anyone, but it just makes me so uncomfortable. I can't. So we're saying goodbye. It's a whole thing. Plus there's a tall redheaded friend in this one who's basically like, our lead girl is, I hate when they do this. And it's not just because she's a tall redheaded gorgeous girl. No, it's like when you have two friends in books, one that is the lead girl who sees themselves as very mediocre, very average looking, you know, that sort of thing. And then they have this gorgeous friend and they continuously say, my friend can get anyone. And then it turns into this kind of like insecurity, like why wouldn't the guy that I'm crushing on, why wouldn't he just go for her instead of me? I hate reading that. No one on this planet can get anyone. It's so annoying. And the way that she treated her friend in this one, it felt almost like you're reading from the villain's point of view. So we're going to, no, bye. I just felt extra targeted because it was a tall redheaded woman. So this is like, if any of our friends did this to me, I would be so mad. Another book that I have not read, Dragon Bird in the Fern by Laura Rueckert. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I'm sorry. Rueckert? This is not it's not to disrespect in any way. If you saw my last name, you probably mispronounced it as well. It's just, and I wouldn't fault you for that. No blame. I'm just not first English speaking kind of gal, so names sometimes are a little bit difficult, and to me the combination of these letters does not make sense. But this is simply because I bought it like years ago and then it's just been on my shelves and for some reason I completely forget that I have it. So when I took down the books that I was going to wrap up and put back on my shelves so they're hidden and stuff, I just didn't feel like wrapping this up at all for some reason. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it at all. Like I didn't want to read it if I pulled the number for it. So she's going. That's the reason. Unread though. I just can't see myself reading it. I don't know. So I think those were the paperbacks. Now we got hardbacks. The reason I'm getting rid of Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor is because I have a special edition from Owl Crate, so I just don't want a duplicate, even though I bought this because I didn't want to read my special edition, but now I'm okay with it. So, or I'm just gonna wait until it's possibly on sale for Kindle and then get it that way so I can annotate it without feeling bad, or just like not annotate, you know what I mean, on Kindle, highlight stuff. So she's unread, and that's that on that, solely because I have there's a mini fly in my office and it's driving me nuts. It likes to like stick by my face. Go away. Next up we have A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy Eileen. I didn't love this, and for that reason I'm just not interested. I might actually change my mind about this one. I will see. It's kind of like the cover itself is like, I'm having a hard time letting that go, but I'm also not super interested in reading the sequel, so I don't know. It's a difficult one. This was a little bit insta-lovey as far as I remember, and that's one of the reasons I'm getting rid of it. I am not super into YA when it has insta-love in it, which unfortunately does happen sometimes with YA fantasy with romance in it. And this was one of those instances, so I might change my mind about it though, but for right now I'm like, she's gotta go. Stunning edition though, or stunning, not edition, it's just the standard, but stunning cover. Absolutely beautiful. Also getting rid of Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Bouillet, but I enjoyed this so much I just can't see myself rereading it. That's the only reason. This is YA mystery, not fantasy, just contemporary, and I believe there's, if I recall correctly, there's a little bit of a romance in it. Very much enjoyed this book. I think I gave it 4.5. I just am not interested in rereading it, and that's the sole reason that I'm gonna put this in the unhaul. So sometimes you gotta part with books that you've actually enjoyed because you just can't see yourself rereading them. So she's gotta go. Then we have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which I have read. This is an adult fantasy set in our world. I want to call it contemporary fantasy, but I'm not actually sure. But I don't know, I felt like this wanted to be funnier than it was, and I didn't agree with the ending. So I know that TJ Klune has like a feel-good kind of thing with this and The House in the Cerulean Sea, and as far as I've heard, also In the Lives of Puppets, but I just didn't agree with the ending. So I can't see myself rereading this, and I didn't fully enjoy it either, so she's gotta go as well. Or he. I don't know. Also getting rid of the US edition of Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I have the UK editions. They are right here, so you can see both this and the sequel. Didn't love them, but I'm not ready to part with those covers yet because they're stunning. So, or I like the first one. Didn't so much enjoy The Dragon's Promise, but I have the UK ones, so I'm just getting rid of the US edition that I have. Because I bought this one first, and then I actually read that edition, but I loved the UK covers so much that I decided to get Six Crimson Cranes right before The Dragon's Promise came out. So they're stunning, those covers, so I just felt like I justified it that way. It's fine. I'm also getting rid of Lake's Edge by Lindell Clipstone, and this is YA fantasy with some horror aspects to it as well, gothic as well, romance in there. On paper it sounds good, but our lead character is so annoying. So definitely not continuing this series or duology, whatever it is. I do not like Violetta. She annoyed me so much. I think I'm very sure that I was actually yelling at my book at certain points while reading this because she annoyed me so much. So it's just not happening. She gotta go. Stunning cover though, we'll say. 10 out of 10 cover. Also getting rid of This Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron. So this is, I enjoyed this. I just feel like it was kind of like mid a little bit. It wasn't necessarily bad. It wasn't necessarily good for me personally. And so I can't see myself, I'm not really drawn towards the sequel to this one. Also because the love interest in this is like, there's an age gap. It might not be a visible one, but there's an age gap and it feels weird. I think, like, if you look at Twilight, Bella and Edward, that is a super weird situation. It's fine when it's adult because you're an adult. Age gaps in adult romance, I don't really care. But in YA, it feels weird. So, and also this was kind of insta-lovey. Again, it's just a thing. I will say though, I can see why some people would like this book. It had very interesting magic in it as well, with the whole like plants and botanica and stuff, poisons. I like that aspect of it, but I'm just not into the insta-love. I just, no. Another edition of The Ivory Key by Akshaya Raman. This one though is the Alcrate one, so it has foiling art on the inside of the dust jacket. They have really upgraded this is from January last year, and they've really upgraded their edition since this one came out. That's so interesting. It has a color variant cover, so it's a color change. The original is like off-white, I want to call it, like bone. It has foil and it has dust jacket art, but like that's it. Now they're going all in. That's interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, she's gonna go for the same reason that the paperback edition is going. This one I don't really want to talk about, but Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. YA fantasy feels like it wants to be high fantasy, but nothing happens in it, and there's an obscene amounts of points of views that are just not needed. There is a point of view in this one that literally shows up like once. A POV that shows up once, and you're like, okay, well that was random. And then it doesn't show up again. And there's like 5 or 6 people in the main group, and you just kind of change between them, but at points where it's not really necessary to the story in any way. It's not like they split up, they're just together all the time, but it's not like any like important thoughts were shared either or something like that. And it was more interesting to read from the villain's point of view. I would have actually read the book if it was from, like, I would have read the book and probably enjoyed it more if it was from the villain's point of view. But no. I don't know, it just was a little bit of a drag to get through, I'm not gonna lie. So, like, it's bad when I highlight plot points with yellow tabs. This is a 500-page book. These are the important plot points. Just to, like, those are the things you have to remember. There's 9 total. That's really bad. So, yeah. We also have The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Lemonseller, another YA fantasy, but romance in it as well. Actually, I would almost call this like a YA fantasy romance. It's very much centered around the romance, following someone who's definitely a bit of a villain. I want to say that the king is also a villain, which in that way is very interesting, but I just thought it was a little bit... I don't want to be mean. Some of it just felt very pointless, and then... like, she probably had the best time writing this book, but I just personally did not love it. So, yeah. I'm gonna keep this for another video, so she's not gonna get packed in the box tonight, but just because I need to mention her in another video. But after that, not her, the book, not Trisha. I loved Daughter of the Pirate King. So just want to say, I gave Trisha Lemonseller another shot, and I loved that duology. This and me just did not get along. Then we have Portrait of a Thief by Gracie G. Lee, which is the Illumicrate edition. This I'm getting rid of for the sole reason that it's just not my kind of genre, and I think it's very much supposed to be a thriller, but has, as far as I've read in reviews, has a more literary fiction kind of feel to it, and literary fiction is not something that I enjoy, so getting rid of it for that reason. Super pretty edition though, other than the cover. I don't love that they added that hand. I feel like it throws the picture out of balance. Like, it's too heavy up here, also because the text is like leaning up there, so it's like dragging the picture up here, whereas you want it to be centered. Not to get technical, but we'll say though, love the inside dust jacket art. This is done by the same, without tearing the book apart, thank you. This is done by the same artist who does the illustrations for the Atlas 6. And it also has foil on the naked cover of tigers, which is pretty cool. And I think, is it signed? It is not signed. I thought it was signed. Why is it not signed? That's fine. But yeah, it's just not my genre. I actually knew that before I got the box, but I really wanted the book pot that was in the box. So there was also a photo album in that box, and I used that photo album for my tarot cards from Fairy Loot, so thank you. Thank you for that. But I knew that I wasn't gonna love the book. It's fine. And then we have A Forgery of Roses by... wait, that's 3 that I've not read then. But anyway, we have Forgery of Roses by Jessica S. Olsen, which is the, this is the Alcrate edition as well. And it is a YA fantasy romance with some mystery in there. I've read this and I didn't love it, so that's why I'm getting rid of this. I will say I do like the edition though. Has red sprayed edges as well, redesigned cover, foiling on the naked cover, both in front and in the back. And I love the inside dust jacket art. I think it looks super nice, very detailed. So she's also signed by the author, but this book just was not for me, so she's gonna go. But still a lovely edition though. And lastly, we have Girl, Serpent, Thorn by Melissa Bechardist, which I read. She's been on the bottom. Oh no. She's taken a bit of a beating. Yeah, but anyway, I've read this and I didn't enjoy it. I feel like the synopsis is a little bit misleading. So that's the thing. That is the thing with this one. Plus, a little bit insta-lovey as well. The character was not one that I enjoyed a whole lot. So, at least as far as I remember. And it just turned out it wasn't for me. Gorgeous cover though. Stunning edition. Or it's just a standard edition as well. But it's a stunning copy. It's a stunning cover. Just didn't really do it for me. She has a scratch down her back now and that's super annoying. I need a Hoover more or something. She has 2 scratches. Well, at least it wasn't the special edition that was in the bottom. So, Girl, Serpent, Thorn. And that means, I think that was the book haul, unhaul. The book unhaul. I'm so used to doing book hauls. It feels weird to actually part with books, but we're at this point now, so we just gotta go with it. Go with the flow. Books gotta come in and come out. You know how it goes. Not having a panic moment at all. It's fine. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any suggestions or any like tips and tricks on how to get rid of the books, let me know, because I want to make sure that that they're not just gonna end up in the trash, if you get what I mean. Except for maybe a couple of them where they belong. I'm sorry, that was mean. But I hope you enjoyed this unhaul. Feel free to tell me that my opinions on these books are wrong. It's the beauty of being human. We all have different opinions and that's completely okay. But those were mine on these ones, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, but also book hauls, bookish unboxings, reading vlogs, TBR videos, all the other booktube stuff, definitely also a lot of moving vlogs coming up here in a little bit. Definitely consider sticking around by clicking on the subscribe button, but I'm gonna leave you to it, so I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.